Yes.
What's your topic?
All right. So there was some issues that happened last week. Got some real deep issues that occurred.
An issue. There was like one issue.
There was a couple issues,
you don't know
but there's one specific issue that I had. So Colin's not here, which means we weren't allowed to shoot in this house.
Right.
So we had to go to Kevin's house.
That's a bit of a generalization. So Colin wasn't here.
Colin and Greg
and
weren't
I
here.
weren't here.
Yeah.
So we didn't want two people not just bumming around the house in case our landlord comes by and says, "What's going on, strangers?"
All right, whatever.
We had
to go to
not wear
Kevin's
clothing.
house.
I just wanted you to know that. We were going to wear no pants the entire time if you let us in.
I'm sure. I can only imagine. I've seen what you do to the bathroom when we are here. I can only imagine what would happen when we're not here.
Look, don't criticize my bowel movements.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is disgusting,
God.
but I'm going to say it anyways.
God.
Earlier today, I went to pee. Someone didn't flush. And I don't know who it was, but it was a mess in there.
Jesus.
I was like, well, that's fun. That's just, why would you not do that? It was one of us. I know it was one of us. Anyways, so.
I hope it wasn't me.
No, we were locked down in here the whole day.
Things are happening. So we were at Kevin's house, right? And we're just chilling there. We're doing stuff. Then I just got my new car. So I got my license plates in the mail, and I can't do anything by myself. So I'm like, Kevin, can you put my license plates on my car?
You just need a screwdriver.
Yeah, I know, but I don't
Okay.
have a screwdriver. He has a screwdriver on him at all times.
Is that true?
And a knife. A giant, like a
Well, I know the
Bowie
knife part. I didn't know he had the.
Yeah, he has
Anyways.
this whole like tool. It does
The
all of
Leatherman?
this.
What the hell's that? Is that like a Swiss Army knife? But
Yeah.
not racist?
Remember the thing I threw at him yesterday?
Oh, right. When you
what
open the blade.
It's an all-in-one tool, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So he's putting my license plate on, and I take the like envelope it comes with, and I go to throw it away. And we're outside, and there's this like recycling bin. Someone's recycling bin, one of the blue bins.
We're in a
And I'm like,
neighborhood, yeah.
All right, fine. I'm just gonna put it in there because it's a freaking envelope.
Yeah.
So I do that shit, and I go to walk away. The dude who owns it screams at me from the window, and he's just like, "Nick, can you?"
He was like, hey, nah, homie, that ain't cool. That ain't cool, dog. And Tim's like, first of all, we didn't know where it was coming from. Second of all, it was at that moment that I noticed there was a cable chain from the pole to the trash can. So this guy is deadly fucking serious about his trash. Like, he does not want you messing with
Like
that.
it was literally tied down, like
Yeah.
with one of those like what are those things called, Kevin? The
Cables.
lock cable.
It was like a
things?
bike cable,
Yeah,
chain.
like
A bike lock
this
cable.
is some legit shit, and like
Which means trash cans are getting stolen in that neighborhood, which suck.
That's right.
I don't know about.
Who would
or-
think that Kevin lives in a bad neighborhood? The corpse molester.
I don't know, man. Like this, no one else has this shit. This guy's it was just the whole thing where I'm like, wow, this is some real serious shit. And there was nothing in that recycling bin, and it was a giant recycling bin.
Okay.
So then I'm like, what? Do you want me to take it out? And he's just like, yeah,
recycling.
you got to take it. It was not a normal one. It was one of the giant ones.
It was a normal size one.
No, it was like the XL one.
They
All right.
don't make a small recycling.
Yeah, they do. I have one of the small ones.
Oh, you have one of the little pony ones.
Well, not the pony ones,
There
but
you
it's
go.
definitely.
Welcome to San Francisco,
Exact same
everybody.
one.
No. Anyways, so I had to freaking reach in and get this thing, and I couldn't reach because it was like all the way
I would
in
have
there.
just tipped it over and dumped it all out. Was
Well,
there anything in there other than
I
your
couldn't
thing?
tip it over because it's tied down to the goddamn pole.
Yeah.
Then
So-
I just would have shrugged and be like, I tried, man.
Well, here's the thing: I would have done that, except for the fact that it had my name on the envelope.
Yeah. It was
That was stupid.
And all my
Yeah,
stuff. So I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, fuck. So anyway, that was that experience. The reason I bring up that story is recycling is some real serious shit to people. Now, going through this whole experience, I was just like, all right, why did he care so much? Why is this a thing? It was a freaking envelope. He even came down afterwards to like check if there's anything in there. God damn it, dude. Now,
Could you have taken this guy in a fight?
absolutely not.
Okay.
Not a chance in fucking hell.
a big guy.
Yeah. So my whole thing was, I was
cares
like,
about his
why does he
recycling?
care so much? Like, why is this a thing? I was like, well, maybe if I was like rummaging, like he heard it, so like he thought I was like trying to take his stuff. And I get people wouldn't want you to take their garbage because like if you're a celebrity and you have like, you know, celebrity poop and you can sell that shit on eBay. Like, I get that. But I was like, why if I'm putting something like, it's not like if I came out with a giant bag of shit and put it in your car,
So-
in your thing, I would totally get that.
It's called a slippery slope. If he doesn't stop you, then you think it's okay. And then you do start bringing by, and then you bring by a bottle. And then you buy a little McDonald's bag. And then it's a garbage bag. And then it's all of your
Yeah, but it's not on the street, so everyone should be a little more grateful.
Yeah.
Sure.
He was like, nah, homie, you got your own. You live over there. It's like, I don't live over there. So
Well,
I'm just on the street right now.
what's funny is it was
Homie.
convenient because you were like, damn it. And you took it out and then you walked the exact distance from the car the other way and threw it out in Kevin's trash.
Yeah, to the trash that was like well hidden like a normal person does when it's not trash day.
That's true.
Like not tied up to a freaking pole for everyone to see.
When I was doing productions in LA, that was a huge issue because if you do anything in downtown LA, you have to rent a dumpster. So like in production land, you have to get a dumpster, all that stuff, arrange a pickup, all that stuff. Especially if you're out of shoot for more than 3 days, like a giant film crew produces a lot of garbage. And when you're on an independent shoot that doesn't feel like doing that, what do? Well, you have all these bags. So you either A, put them in your car and drive them to the dumpster, or drive to the dump, or B, walk to the nearest dumpster you can find that's not locked down and put them in there.
Be as shady as
and it's
possible.
actually illegal. Like you can get a serious fine if you do that.
Yeah.
Because of that, because people have to pay to have their trash taken away in the big dumpsters and things like that. I don't know what this guy's specific problem with it was, other than I think he just was watching you do it and felt that it was a little bit disrespectful to use someone else's trash can. I don't know why, though. I don't think you pay by the poundage. But people in San Francisco get pissed about that. If you actually do it in San Francisco, like get that out of there.
Trash gets picked up every Monday. When I walk Portillo on Sunday night and he poops and I pick up his little poop in a bag, I pass dozens of trash cans I could toss it in, but I don't until I'm at my trash can because I'm not going to deal with something like this. Because this happens more than you think. Neighborhood people. I fought off the devil. I'm sorry. I almost sneezed. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
It's about time.
I was
won one.
really confused at what the hell just happened.
People in San Francisco are weird about this, and people in general are weird about that. Every neighborhood has its weird idiosyncrasies about all these stupid things that you don't do or can do, or the one guy over there's like the guy across the street. Have we talked about Red Zone guy?
No.
There's a Red Zone guy in my neighborhood, and so like
He's always in a red zone.
No, his curb ends and it's red. And so he repainted it red and then put up little, reflectors all over the pole and put up his own sign that this is a red zone right here. And so we can fit the Mini Cooper in there with the bumper like a little bit over the thing. And this guy has dealt with his red zone so many fucking times. He has printouts of a note he wrote with his shaky hand that says something like, "Dear neighbor, please stay out of my," and then it's red zone in quotes or whatever. And he puts it under your windshield wiper like a psychopath. And he'll do it to people all the time. And it's just like, dude, it's not even blocking your driveway. Calm down. But like, that's his fucking thing. He will sit in a lawn chair in his driveway to protect that red zone. It's like he never parks there.
People, man, they're freaking crazy.
No, you know what it is? It's the city like does it to you. Because I am one of those people. Because I live in a place where there is no red painting.
Yeah.
So people think it's
bottom of it.
They go. My garage spot is just big enough for me to pull my car in, and I have one of the garage that goes underneath my building. But the opening to get into it is very, very narrow. And so oftentimes what happens is you can fit 3 cars here and 1 car here if they're small cars. But what happens is these 2 cars, if they get just a little bit bigger, I have to come in at a 90-degree angle. So I have to reroute myself all the way up the street, come down, and then go, make a nice wide turn and come in. Well, there have been times when I go, it's physical impossible. I can't pull my car into the spot. So now after a long day of work, maybe it's Friday and maybe I just want to go home and like watch Daredevil, I can't do that. I have to go find parking in San Francisco.
Like a nobody.
Have you ever tried? You don't drive much. Finding parking in San Francisco is the most nerve-wrackingly like anger-inspiring experience you will ever have in your life.
Absolutely. This is why I ride a bike.
Oh, it's a perfect reason.
In fact,
to ride a motorcycle.
Speaking of which, when I parked in front of your house legally, your couple next door came out because I could tell they're like, "Who's parking so close to our car?" And it's like, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm allowed to do this.
Yeah,
nicely. But you could tell they're like getting all uptight. Someone might be parking. There's only space for one. No, it's space for one in a bike.
Yeah,
but it's always parking.
If I rode that bike that you were riding, I would be very careful where I parked it because people in San Francisco just do not have respect for a fine motorcycle.
Yeah,
and if I came back and came out and found that thing on the ground, I would rage on whatever. I would just pick the car nearest to it, fucking rage on it.
You know, I've been lucky. I never had a problem.
I mean, I think you're probably pretty smart about where you're parking. I've seen people like that have bikes they don't care about, especially like Nob Hill, where they're parking it like on a steep incline where that car in front of it's like the guy's gonna release, boom, and then I don't know what that was. Gone. You've never seen that car again.
That's right.
So I used to see guys every morning, not every morning, but like once a week, you'd come out and you'd see a bike on the ground, or you'd see someone. Like the bike would be up, but the windshield would be fucked up, and people would be pissed off.
But there's always parking. Yeah, that's the thing. You're always on time. There's always parking.
Yeah. Now the thing about the recycling in particular in San Francisco is something I'd never experienced growing up in the Midwest like a normal person, but coming here into the city where at night, when not even at night, but usually like dusk, on Sunday night before trash night, you'll hear there's a conversation with Colin where we stop so we can reference it, but you hear the clang of bottles because people just roam the streets, open the recycling bins, open the bags, go through, pick out bottles, go through, they take apart your recycling bin and then put it back together sans the glass.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that brings me to the actual topic.
We weren't at the
is-
topic yet.
no.
I thought it was recycling bins. I apologize.
Well, I mean, it is, but it's those people. So this whole dilemma that I went through, I couldn't sleep that night. I'm just thinking about all these recycling conundrums and all this stuff.
At any point, did you think about going back, filling it with concrete?
Not concrete, but fecal matter, yes. And Nick made sure I didn't do that.
That's good. That's good.
But, yeah.
Because
I wasn't actually going to do it, but like I was so upset at this whole thing happening. I was just like, and I know I couldn't because like they know where Kevin lives.
Yeah.
and
like-
we had to come back the next day to record the show.
And all that stuff too, but it's just like,
And you don't have a chance of hell of beating his ass.
yeah, that too. That
That guy would
too.
have beat all three of us
But,
to death and gone out and got a hamburger and not even giving a shit about it.
4 homicides on one piece of recycled garbage.
Yeah, but so my topic is the people that, because in SF, I grew up here my whole life, and it's just a normal thing that you see these older people walking around, just collect all day and all night. It's not just during Sunday nights; it's all times of the day, walking up to every single garbage can and having these bags and bags and bags of bottles and cans.
Yeah.
And they're just like walking with them. And there's just little old ladies like holding pounds and pounds of these bags.
Yeah,
And
they
it's
got a
like,
muni with them. They
yeah,
got a
and they
muni
get
with
on
their
me. Oh
giant
god,
trash
and
bags.
that's like a whole other thing. Where
That's
it's
a
just
rigmarole.
like, well, great, you just took up half the bus with your goddamn bags.
Smelly ass bottles and
Yeah.
cans.
What do they do this for?
They sell
money.
them. They
money,
sell
you
them.
say. Money, money, money. Do you know how many freaking bottles you need to get $1? 20.
Yeah.
They're 5 cents.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Think of how much you can get a day. If you have a jackpot day and you're just like nailing it and you're like bags and bags and bags, what are you making? $10 for a whole day of work?
So think
What?
about that old lady, how hard she's working carrying those
Yes.
bags. Why?
For $10?
For $10 that might feed her tonight.
No. Okay. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I understand that I might be being culturally like an asshole right now and all that shit. I want someone to explain to me why I think it'd be a better use of her time to make a lemonade stand. I bet you that she will get more than $10 selling goddamn lemonade than working her ass off doing that.
But she would need a license. She would need to pay the city, and she would need
She's a license.
insurance.
She's not allowed to steal people's bottles.
Well, but they're not
if she
stealing;
got-
they're recycling.
Yeah.
No, but if I'm not allowed to
Technically-
put a freaking envelope in someone's recycling bin, you're definitely not allowed to.
Yeah,
steal
but you
it.
can't let
Profit
you
off
can't
them.
let the asshole set the law, right? And so to the guy who's like,
Greg's
"Don't
looking
use
this
my
up.
garbage can," you're like, "Okay, so you'd feel better if the garbage was on the street than in your precious can." Like that's kind of, he's got some issues, right? And it's another thing if you come out every week and your garbage is full because
Someone else
someone
put
else
garbage
put
in.
it there. That's
Yeah.
a different issue, But the old people grabbing the bags. I mean, I remember it's happening in our neighborhood, and they drive by and they do it. And what we started doing is we started separating out the bottles so they could grab them because Sherry, she's looking at that, and one night she sees someone's in the garbage, and so she's a little upset, like, why are they there? And then she goes out, and it's an old person digging through to get the bottles. Now she comes back in the house and she's crying because she's like, old people shouldn't have to do this, And ever since Reagan, we got a whole issue there of dumping all the crazy people that should have had help into the streets.
We'll cut mental health.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, as we increase the defense budgets, we'll keep on cutting social needs, because we're such a poor country,
Yeah, we
which-
can't. I mean, you got to pick
yeah,
and choose.
which is pretty pathetic. But
make sure we take
I mean,
over another
just think about it. Like I think, like when I see young people panhandling, the question is: Are they working, or are they don't have a green card? Like what's the issue? And then you do a guess on whether you're going to help them or not, right?
Right.
When you see old people, it's almost like no matter what crimes they might be guilty of, if it's a 70-year-old lady who's carrying all these bags for nickels on the pound, right? What's going on there? And to me, it's like that's a sad thing. So I look at it, I don't have the same reaction. I look at it, I always have a sad reaction because I'm like, God damn, man, to look at these old people, like, how can this country be so rich? And this is what we have happened to our old people. Like, for example, and we don't talk about it, what's the highest suicide rate in the United States? It's the elderly.
Really?
We don't talk about it because they're just offering themselves regularly, right? Like higher than teens, way, right? So there's these things we just don't talk about. But what's happening? So Social Security gets, all these things get hammered.
You only have
All
Social
the
Security
expenses
till
are
you're
going
about
up,
70,
up.
and then you're
Nothing
like,
is getting
shit,
cheaper.
How am I going to live? Right? Yeah.
And then these old people are winding up very disposable. So to me, it's kind of, but I'm a bleeding heart, tree hugger. And
See,
so
I
was looking at it that way.
totally, I get that, and I do understand that I'm me, and
I
Tim
think
and I talk about.
I think
things
your
this way.
question is not necessarily is it morally or ethically right to go through people's garbage to recycle. Your question is more like, is there nothing else? These people are clearly motivated. If you're motivated enough to go through someone's garbage to make a living, you're good enough to work in the workforce. And
If
so
there's a job.
if there's a job?
Yeah.
But the question I think the thing that is the issue is maybe they're illegal, maybe they can't work in this country legally, or they have a criminal record and they can't get a job,
Or they're mentally handicapped.
They're mentally handicapped, in which case this is all they're functionally capable of doing. Or
It's their day off. They're getting a different shift, something along that.
right,
lines, too.
or they're just doing it because it makes a little extra money on their day off. Like I've seen guys, like I was telling you when you sit at bars on Union Street, if you're there till 2 o'clock in the morning, you'll see a big truck pull up, and he'll go through the garbage. And this is we're talking like a steak bed truck that's just got hundreds of bags of these things in there, and I'm like, well, this is this guy's industry. Like he figured it out that if he has this route, it'll take him 2 hours, and he'll probably make a few $100. And that's it. And that's his work for the day, maybe. And then tomorrow morning he goes and does his other job. And then after that he does his other job. And then at 2 o'clock in the morning he does this job. Because that's what you see a lot of times in these older like communities where, especially in the Chinese community, where you see like the parents and like there's 3 generations living in the same house. Is that like they all keep working. So the grandfather will be like, well, I can't work anymore, really, but
I can go do this.
I can go do this, and I can contribute to my household still.
It's one of those things. Colin and I have talked about it when we'll hear it happening or whatever. And Colin used to be super obsessive about it, and he'd hear it, and then he'd just go out there and watch. He'd just go to the window and watch, and just not say anything. He wasn't trying to stop them. He was just fascinated by the practice of what was happening. But the argument we kept coming back to, right, is like, it must be worth it. You know what I mean?
But
They
that
must
doesn't
be
make
making.
sense.
They're making enough money in their head that this is worth it. I don't know what it's doing.
Well, if they can get $10 a day, they can eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
There's
2013, by
so
the way,
much about this that doesn't add up. To me.
in at least in 2013, SF Gate reports that it is illegal.
Yes,
It's illegal.
very
It's
illegal.
always been illegal. No, to throw something out in someone's garbage.
and also it's
No,
illegal
this
to
is no.
steal
He's
from
talking.
someone's
They're
garbage.
calling it. It's
Well, it's not stealing if it's garbage.
Yes, it is.
Why?
No, it's technically the second it goes on the curb, it's public domain.
No,
That's why
not
all
if it's
these-
in your garbage can.
No, the
No,
second, the
listen,
second,
Greg's reading right now.
the second you put your garbage out on the curb, you are releasing your. The second it's garbage, I believe the law says you are releasing all of your ownership over that garbage. That's why, and
Pretty
people.
sure that's incorrect.
No,
I
that's
mean,
why
like, guys,
people
we live in San Francisco, and I'm reading the SF Gate story.
What's it say?
Each week in San Francisco and in urban neighborhoods across the Bay Area, residents dutifully separate aluminum cans, glass bottles, and plastic jugs from their garbage and roll their recycling bins to the curb on trash day. But before the garbage trucks can arrive, many bins are picked clean by people who take the bottles and cans to a recycling center or a wholesale black market collector on the corner and turn the trash into cash. The practice is illegal and inflates garbage collection rates. The thieves often leave behind a mess on city sidewalks. But police in San Francisco, Oakland, and other Bay areas told the Chronicle Watch that although they understand residents' annoyances with the recycling ripoffs, chasing down thieves is not a high priority.
He stole my garbage.
Chasing down thieves. Can you guys just imagine?
I can't believe
this?
they use the term
Yeah.
thieves.
Holy
They're
shit.
mirroring
right?
your. Yeah.
A man who would only identify himself as Pretzel said he collects bags of bottles and cans from residential blue bins most nights. He makes a few bucks each day and tries not to leave a mess because that just, quote, gets people all upset, he said. Pretzel said he's been hassled by the cops for taking recycling only once in his 5 years in San Francisco. One guy shined his light at me once and told me to go somewhere else. But that's it, man.
There you go. See, I'm a schemy fuck. If there's something I can scheme, I
Yeah.
do it. If
Yeah.
there's money I can make, I do it.
You do it.
And like this goes back to like me in high school and shit. When obviously things like this crossed my mind many times, where I was like, "Can I profit off of this? Like, how can I do this?"
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm addicted to soda. You guys know this. There was a point in my life where I was like, I'm just gonna like keep on my cans. I'm gonna do this, and like I got a shit ton of cans, like mountains of cans in my garage. And I went and turned it in. I was like, I'm gonna be fucking rich, and I was not. I think I made like $15.
That's why you gotta
And I'm
stamp 'em
that's
into the flat.
months. of this. Like,
It's like the episode of Seinfeld where they get the truck to go back and get him in Vermont or whatever. It's still illegal according to San Francisco.
Can you check and see
we go.
if trash is like the ownership laws on trash? Because that's always no, not on whether or not it's.
But I think
You
you
can
should
pick
get.
through someone's trash, because that's actually just like that's a law that's just vandalism. But do you own your trash if you put it out? Because there were reports back in the day that reporters would go through people's trashes and find like bank statements and shit and record on that stuff.
I put in, do you own your trash? Google autofill puts in, do you throw away your own trash at Panera?
I want to see.
I really
want
wanna
to
know the answer to that.
Say scheming fuck on it.
Oh,
though.
I'm a
That'd be
scheming
great.
fuck,
That'd be
dude.
great.
I'm so good at that.
Title: Scheming fuck.
Yeah, that would be Tim's
Nailed it.
title. That's
Yeah.
actually Tim's official title. Kind
Yeah.
of funny.
Nice.
But okay, going
Once
back
you
to
put
this,
something
though.
out in the trash, do you still own it? This is from
Yeah.
Slate.com. Probably not. Items discarded in the trash are often classified as abandoned property, meaning the owner has relinquished his claim, it should say his or her claim, to the items and doesn't intend to
Well, women don't
resume
throw away
ownership.
things, Greg. Facts. They're not capable of it. They can just cook.
Jesus Christ.
I
Nick.
light
I'm
that
being
fire.
sarcastic. I'm teasing. They can.
We know.
They can make kids too.
Yeah, I got in a fight. I got in a big argument with this guy.
Just
He's
joking,
running
Just kidding.
a crappy Chinese food place in Berkeley, and I walked into a store and I looked at him. I waited for him to look at me, and then I was like, okay, I'm tossing this in your garbage. He goes, no, and he runs out there like I was like, dude, first of all, calm down. Like this little guy comes running out like he's gonna do something, right? So that was kind of funny anyway. But then it's like, hold on a second, dude, your shitty wrappers are all over this city block.
Yeah.
Right? Now, those are winding up in someone else's garbage cans. You don't give a shit. Now, if someone's coming to you with garbage that would wind up on the street, you should be honored to put it in your fucking can. You know, like, come on, man. This is the neighborhood. Keep it clean. Like, if I'm the type of person, I walk down the street. If I'm able, I'll pick up shit on the way and I'll throw it in the next garbage can, right? Because I think if everyone did that, the world would be pretty spotless.
Right,
I mean,
right.
aside from where they want to dump chemical waste, but that's another issue. You know, but it's like, this is something occasionally, Sherry and I get in these little arguments, and I try to come back to it. I go, don't let someone else's pettiness define your standards. You know, like when the guy next door is giving you shit about using his garbage can, and you feel like you need to start doing that too. It's like, that's the slippery slope of bullshit.
Right.
It's like, man, don't let them lower your standards, you know?
Yeah, see, the only reason I would do that, I mean, granted, my trash is in a building that's enclosed, so you can't get to it unless you live in the building.
So that's why it's not an issue with you.
But that would, it would freak me out if someone was there throwing trash. I'm like, how the hell did you get in this building? But B, for me, we have a 16-unit building that has a trash can. So
What?
Inevitably,
like a dumpster or
like a normal roll-out trash can. So guess what?
What the fuck does that work?
Every Monday, it doesn't. There's overflowed trash, and sometimes they just don't pick it up because they have that quote-unquote law. Like, if it's not in the bin, I'm not
How do
going
you
to pick it
do
up.
that? I mean, we live in one house with 2 people, and it's got 3 cans up
It's
there.
disgusting, first of all. And secondly, we have a recycle bin that I swear to God... and
Holds a 6-pack.
No, it's the same size as the trash can, but the problem is like people order stuff. Everyone orders stuff now.
Right.
So everything comes in a box within a box.
Right.
So you're not just ordering toilet paper; it comes in a box within a box within a box that's like this big, but then it's like for like one roll of toilet paper.
You're
And-
ordering toilet paper wrong, man.
Nah, I mean, I go. Well, I'm just using that as an example, of course. But the thing that kills me is that no one understands the concept of breaking down one's box.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off because I love doing it. First of all, it's a huge stress relief.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of like I can take all this with the proper planning and fit it into in this little
It's like
tiny square.
origami of
I'm like
garbage.
shoving things in, making stints,
Right.
so that I can make the thing bigger. You know, so that when they wheel it out, they can't fold the thing, but they can still, it's still in like a space where the truck will take it.
I got so sick of cutting out the boxes here, and when we started the business and I knew we were going to get boxes every day, I went and bought giant tin shears.
Yeah.
So I have these like giant scissors now that I can just cut through boxes in 2
That's
things. Because I have
smart.
to break, because we get so much often, I have to break it down and then twine it up and put it in this little 2x2
Yeah.
little package out there.
Yeah, you be if you're responsible at it, great. But everyone in the city, most of the time, just doesn't.
Yeah.
Everyone lives this such a fast paced life that the thought of stopping in the cities in general, it's like you just feel this energy of like this urgency, always go. That the thought of stopping and like bothering yourself with breaking down a box that your neighbor is not inconvenienced by it is like that's so trite.
Nobody did it for me, so I'm not going to do it for
Yeah,
anybody
of
else. It's
course.
one of those things.
And oftentimes my wife and I will just be like, you know what? I have to put this in there, and I'm not going to be contributing to this. I'm not going to just take my big box that my TV came in or whatever and just leave it there. I'll cut that shit up into like, I'm like a brain surgeon when it comes to this thing. I will cut it up in the exact perfect way. I would take a bet. You can show me any trash receptacle, and I can get that box in there. Guaranteed I can.
Yeah, I like those challenges too.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's like a real life Tetris where you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah, exactly.
I hate breaking down boxes.
I love it.
Fucking drives me nuts.
I love it.
Well, that's why I have the big box cutter. It's like a switchblade.
Oh, the big dog. Yeah.
Yeah, so it comes out long, and then you're like, it's awesome.
I love it.
You rip through those boxes, man.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you have a brand new razor. Like that, I learned that early on. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna flip. It's like a switch slow razor.
But it can't be the
blades.
normal box cutter. It's got to be the extendable one. You can get about 5 inches of blade.
See, I've never thought about that. That's awesome.
Huge difference. Huge difference. You prefer it over the shears.
I like the one where you can click and then break the blade off and keep going.
It scares me. I don't like. So it's one giant thin blade. I'd be afraid of it coming and pops off.
what it does
things
is-
about this big and go click, 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 and the blade will come out like that. And
Yeah.
but it's all about the angle and the
Sure.
You know, so the more blade you have, the less energy.
Something that sharp, it terrifies me.
Yeah, it's very
coffee's
sharp.
Can't do. Are your
Very
coffees
sharp.
here? In the walking mug.
Okay.
Look at that.
There's no cream. Well,
Yeah, maybe you should buy something for the house. Maybe that would help. Maybe you just don't come here and drink all the cream.
The last 2 creams were mine. I want you to know that.
Yeah, probably I don't use it.
And
Who
you
the hell
use it,
knows?
so what do you care?
So yeah, there's got to be some reason. They've got to. I mean, it's just a mindset. I don't know, because like you're saying, it's always. It seems like it's older people out there doing it, right? And I do feel it comes down to being raised in a generation where one to contribute, but then every cent counts. Like we're not that generation, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, you can redeem this. And, oh, it's too many steps. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I don't know the stats on this. I'm just talking out of my ass, but the majority of people I see, I don't think they're crazy, and I don't think that they're like any of these like they're not homeless. Like they have homes.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to contribute. Is this just how they like to spend their time?
probably not
All right,
good-
cool. Go for it. It's
Probably
on you.
not good team players and don't like bosses. You know,
Yeah, well, no,
so they have
Or,
their
I
own
mean,
job on
honestly,
their own hours, as long as they're willing to get up late at night.
I get that, but like it just sounds. I just don't get it. You are putting a lot of work in for very little return. That's my
Honest-
only issue with it.
honestly,
I want
I
these
feel
people
like-
to get what they deserve.
Jesus Christ, Kevin.
I feel like it's a again, I feel like it's a third job. I feel like it's the job you do after the other job to just contribute. You know what
Just
I
to
mean?
chill out, to rest your
I
mind.
mean, that just doesn't seem worth it. It's like that $10, man. Fucking chill out, just sleep.
But what's really interesting is you saw that spike start happening after 208, right? So it was after. That's what we noticed is that in 208 when the crash happened, the Wall Street crash.
Yeah.
Then we started noticing this behavior, and then there were competitors because we're in the hills of Berkeley. Right? It's not like it's pedestrians going by, you know. So someone's actually got to be in a car and up there actually patrolling the neighborhood. And then we found out they're competing.
Oh wow!
So we were
This is
trying-
our block.
Yeah. No, and
Holding down
Sherry's
the
all like,
block signs
well, I want to
like
make
the
sure the
wire.
old lady gets it. So she's like waiting, hiding the garbage until she's estimating the old lady's time is going to show up. And then
That's
she's putting it out there
hilarious.
then. Cause,
Yeah.
You know, because the younger guy getting it, that's not
Oh,
going
that's
to be
not
okay.
good. That's
right?
not cool.
Yeah.
That ain't cool, bro.
But I'm kind of, I don't know, having grown up sort of poor and knowing people that didn't make it, you know, it's like, man, it's just, if you look at, so you grew up in San Francisco, your parents are educated,
No, not really.
professional.
I mean, barely. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was scheming for a reason with
Yeah.
with all this stuff, but it's just like I don't know. Come on, guys.
But it's like, you know, some people's journey is just so far and long. Like I met a girl just recently. She was about to graduate art school. I believe it was her 7th year in a 4-year curriculum, and young girl from inner city Oakland, you know, and she was telling her story, right? And this is at a friend's house who's having like a yoga class there, right? And she's part of this class, still a young girl. What's her story? And you think about how, like, you talk to the kids that were Ivy League grads. They have so many tools going for them, right? And from day one up, usually, that they don't understand what they have by the time they get out there and they need to start applying it. Like, they just take it for granted.
Right.
But here's the story of this girl. So she winds up in a condition where home is a complete disaster. She's got a kid that's a little brother that's about half her age. She's 14 and winds up on the street. So whatever, the household is such a disaster. She and the little brother are on the street. Now her purpose in life is keep the little brother okay. He doesn't make it. He gets killed. So now you got this young teenage girl on the streets alone with the sense of failure that her brother couldn't make it, right? No education, no role models, none of that. And going, well, in order to make him proud of what I've become, like his life would have been a waste if I don't do something with mine. And I'm kind of good at art, so I'll pursue that. And you listen to these stories of people who've really climbed out of it, like really climbed out of deep shit, like this girl, you know? And then she winds up like she's going to be graduating art school in San Francisco that she paid for herself for 7 years, that she started saving for when she was living on the street as a teenager, while, you know, other kids kind of didn't realize all the things that they had. But when we look at that,
band camp.
yeah, like I used to be a real judgmental bastard about most things in life, you know. Just I had all kinds of opinions about this, but the more I understood like people's tragedies, the more it became like harder to to judge and feel clear about it. You know what I mean? Like I'd usually catch myself in some like really embarrassing situation where you'd be like, oh God, I thought this person was an asshole, but they were really like had this handicap or something else. You're just like on the spot for being a real asshole, you know? But the stories, I mean, that's my thing. I'm a collector of stories. Like if we sit down, I want to hear your stories, man. I want to get it. I want to hear if you came from another country and you were locked in a storage container for 3 months on a boat. I want to hear about it. You know, I want to know what your experience was. And I look at that, and the more time goes on, it's like the more the stories are just heart wrenching in the modern world. You know what people go through, so it gets harder to gauge it. But I look at it like the guy with the garbage can. He should get sentenced to a week at Burning Man. Right, like that's your sentence, dude. You got to stop being an asshole. You got to look at the world differently, and so the only way you're gonna get fixed is fucking Burning Man. Good luck, you know, and drop him off out there and see, because you know he'll find that the generosity of others is the only thing that's gonna keep him alive.
Right,
and that'll life-changing events. But I look at that, I go, you know, real selfish. You know, real people are too close. They're not. Okay,
you seem like you'd be a fun judge.
Okay, what'd you do? Yeah,
Burning Man. Here's the Burning Man judge every time.
like Burning Man, and the numbers inflated by 400%. It's like, what the hell are you doing all this thing?